Are we live? I think we're live. As of 4 seconds ago, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds. Jeremy, what's going on?
What's going on? I'm doing all right. How you doing today, April?
I'm good. It's early here. I actually got up at I get up at 5. I took the dog for a walk at 6 in the morning. I had to put a winter coat on in California, so I'm like, I need to get my money back. I didn't pay for cold weather.
Yeah, they can be a little rough this time of year, but wasn't expecting to hear that from where you're at. Definitely not.
Yeah. But you know how it is out here all year long actually is that you wear like 3 different outfits a day, so it'll be kind of chilly in the morning, and then when the sun comes out it's hot, so you got your flip-flops and your short sleeve shirts on, and then in the evening you got maybe like a flannel or hoodie on. So lots of long here.
Yeah, I could go for some warmer temperatures right now. We're in a bit of a cold streak right here in Carolinas. So.
Okay.
But it's that time of year.
So yeah, what is the weather like there in the winter? Like what is cold?
30s, 40s most of the time. 50s, if we're lucky, but still above freezing most of the time. We don't get down below freezing at night, but it warms back up during the day. It's nice. It's bearable.
I see you have a guitar in the back there. Do you play a lot?
Not much anymore. I started playing when I was about 15.
Yeah.
I played pretty heavy for a while, but career and family take over. There's only so many hours in the day, so I keep them up to remind myself they're still around. But
yes,
they got a good coat of dust.
I'm gonna have to hold you accountable for playing that sucker in the next week. My son plays, and man, he's into skateboarding and he plays the guitar, and he's like his dad. He's like just good at everything, and I love hearing him play because it reminds me of my dad, and I get all kind of sentimental because I lost him, gosh, it's been 7 years now, I think. And it's pretty cool to see that kind of pass on, so.
Absolutely. No, I got generations of musicians in my lineage. So again, we're trying not to let that one die out, but we'll see what happens.
We already have a comment here. So Bobby said, I need to know what kind of music he listens to. Bobby is obsessed with Dream Theater, like obsessed, always talking about him. So what's your fave?
I mean, listen to it, dude. I get into everything. It really depends on my mood. I'm eclectic. Sometimes you walk onto the job site and it'll be some like electronic grungy music from like an action movie in the 90s up to reggae tones the next day to classical. I don't know. I appreciate the art of the musicians. So if it's got instruments, I probably enjoy it.
Nice. We went to Nashville over the holiday break, and my husband likes to go. I can't remember the name of the place. I think it's maybe called Corky's. I can't remember, but we're not big country music fans. And this place, they have a house band that will play anything that you request. And so, I mean, they were doing like Sublime and who does that song Let the Bodies Hit the Floor from the like 90s or whatever?
Oh, was that POD? I don't know. I've got POD in my head for some reason. That's probably not it.
It was so funny though, because that song came on and then there's like this group of like 60-year-olds and they're like jamming to this song, when they walk in. It was funny.
Brings back memories.
They played Pantera and I was headbanging. My neck was sore for the next 2 days. Oh man. Okay. So Case 2 Detroit said it's drowning pool. Why is that familiar to me? Okay, well, thanks for letting us know. And then we've got another one. So Jory Game Bites said, "Hey chat." Hey chat. Okay. Nice to have you. Well, let's get joining here. Let's get some professionalism here in this podcast for a minute.
I'll try to do my best for you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the We Love Deck Builders podcast. This is your go-to space for real conversations, strategies, and stories from the leaders shaping the deck building industry. I'm your host, April Edwards. I'm the owner and growth strategist at Deck Builder Marketers. We are the #1 growth partner for the industry's top deck builders. We don't just run campaigns, we own your success. Our mission is simple: help you grow, dominate, and thrive. Today, I'm excited because we have someone who has not only built decks, but built a movement around craftsmanship, education, and modern leadership. We are joined by Jeremy Wilkins, also known as Deckmaster J. He's the co-founder of Deck Van Gogh and the creator behind the Deckmaster J brand. He's got more than 20 years in the trades, and he's one of the most transparent, community-driven forces in the industry. From creating content that actually helps builders get better, to leading a fast-growing company in Greenville, to building software and systems for contractors. He's doing things differently, and I think you're really going to take away a lot from this conversation. So let's dig in. Jeremy, welcome to the podcast.
Set the bar pretty high there.
I know. We work hard on those intros.
Yeah,
you guys
do.
It. So yeah, for anybody that doesn't know you, you want to just kind of give a little intro?
Sure. I've done a lot of things in my life. I do a lot of different things now. Typically go by Deckmaster J on social media because I've found passion in teaching and training and trying to inspire others in the trades. And that core fundamental basis has kind of triggered a long series of events as an outcome. I've learned I really enjoy working with people. There's something like, I don't know, there's just that spark in someone's eye when they have like an aha moment about like something that was difficult before. And now they understand it. They didn't just hear it, but they understand it and acquire a new skill and can take that and go implement it somewhere. I mean, that's just magical to be a part of. So like that's the kind of stuff that drives me. Yeah, it's business. We got to make dollars and play with sense. But I'm like, I love working with people and I love making stuff. So that's what we're doing. Across the board, one way or the other. I'm making stuff and trying to help people.
Yeah, so. It's kind of cool. Like owning a business. It took me a while to realize, like, you have such an opportunity to make an impact in people's lives,
Mm-hmm.
And
Sure.
That's something that I don't take for granted. And it sounds like you don't either.
No, it's a huge responsibility. I mean, everyone that we have working with us has families. And most of the guys that we have working with us are the sole earners for their families. So like, that's a huge burden. That's a huge responsibility. And we don't take it lightly. So, what we do is not just try to, cover paycheck, but we try to help, increase the quality of life, as best we can with the guys that are investing in the business.
Yeah.
We want it to be more than just money for people.
Mm-hmm.
So I do at least. It's like...
We've got some people here. So, Jesse was really excited to join and say hello.
Hey, Jesse. I ran into her in Vegas while we were out there.
Yeah. And then
almost tackled her with a hug. So I apologize again.
I love it. Vanessa Ramirez said hi.
Hello, Vanessa.
And then Anna says, love the background. It is cool. You've got a cool background.
Try to have fun with it. Play with lights. I'm a big sucker for lighting.
Yeah. I'm curious to kind of know a little bit more about, your background as far as your journey. How did you get into it? How did you get into this? And I mean, over 20 years, that's quite a bit of time. I'm sure you've got a pretty interesting journey.
Yeah. I guess it was late summer of 1985. I inherited a whole bunch of genes from a lot of people that are big into entrepreneurial spirit and creating stuff and teaching. And I think a lot of the life events that have happened since then have kind of steered me in that course of I enjoy, I've always been a student. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, I'm having to learn something. So I've always put myself around, interesting environments. As a kid, I was constantly on someone's job site. If, anyone in my neighborhood was building something, they were stumbling over me. And it's, they're saints for not having killed me or kicked me out, because it was the foundation of what led up to today. Besides that, gosh, I don't know. I've tried to go do a lot of stuff, but In and out, my primary moneymaker over the years has been construction. When I would try to deviate and get out for whatever reasons at the time, I didn't like the industry. I kept getting pulled back into it. So after a long time, I focused. But now I'm in a position where I have an abundance of experience from a lot of different resources in and out of the industry. Like I have experience working for Home Depot many years ago. So I got a lot of experience in their corporate culture, their SOPs, their training practices, how they run a business of that size. I was also a manager over at Office Depot, so similar concept, different business model, but I got a lot of good experience for what it takes to run a business of that capacity from people that have been doing it and scaled it successfully already. But when it came back to it, no matter what, I was always nights and weekends doing construction. I was renovating a bathroom or drywall, patch and paint somewhere, putting in trim. So always, no matter what, there was always construction, but it was rough starting out. I mean, that's anyone you talk to, it's always rough starting out. And that was really hard to get past. I'd say I spent probably the first 10 years of my career not really committed to it because it was that rough to start. And then afterwards I realized like this, I always keep going back to it. Now let's go all in with it. So 2017, my wife got a promotion, which required us to move from Maryland. We're originally from Maryland, the DMV, DC Metro, Northern Virginia area. I shut down my business there and moved to this area in Greenville, South Carolina, and started over while she got a promotion. And since that time, I was primarily trying to utilize my skill sets to help other businesses. I knew from, again, starting out is rough. I didn't necessarily want to do that again, but I wanted to help build something. I didn't want to just do a job. And so I would partner with other teams in the area to try to offer that skill set, to help them grow, learn from them as well, because I don't know everything. Even now, like the partnership that I have works because my partner's strengths are also my weaknesses and my strengths are his weaknesses. So there's a good balance of chemistry that really makes this model work. So yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I can babble, but ultimately,
yeah,
it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, it's hard to kind of summarize that in just a couple seconds because, like you said, it's 20 years of figuring things out the hard way, implementing what you can, learning from lessons and other people, and trying to figure out what works for you. And it is so unique. What works for one business and one market at one time may not work 6 months from then, at the same time in the same model. Like, everything's constantly evolving. Everything's constantly changing, and you have to keep up with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know that. I mean, every industry is that way. It's just happening faster now than it's ever happened, in history, as far as we know.
Oh my gosh, there's so much to dissect there. So hold on. We got Vanessa. Vanessa's saying, she said cool, and then she's sending some emojis, but they're not coming across. So one was a red smiling face, and one was a waving octopus. So I don't know. I wish it would show up, but so Chris,
that would be a cool one to see.
Chris Breen's here. He said School of Hard Knocks is the best degree. And then Bobby wants to know, what was the moment you realized this is where you want to be with deck building?
I got to give it to Breen and the legacy team. I've always enjoyed construction. I prefer to be outside the house than in, but back in Maryland, you don't want to work outside in the winters. Building in South Carolina is a lot different than building back in Maryland. You could do outside work here year round comfortably. And the legacy team showed me that that was actually sustainable in this area. So again, props to them for that. I know we're in the same shirts now, but commend them where credit's due. They're killing it. Mm-hmm. There's tons of work out there in this market. I mean, everyone's overwhelmed, and there's still people looking for more stuff to be done. Mm-hmm. So there's just so much work out there everywhere. It's an amazing how much abundance of work is out there for the people that are actually, going to meet the criteria that most clients want, which is that professionalism, not just someone that can say they get it done, but they want that whole experience.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about where you are today. You've got Deck Van Gogh. What was kind of your vision for that company?
Deck Van Gogh is and was started as a proof of concept, for lack of better terms. Deck Van Gogh was started. Um, I had partnered up with a gentleman named Max Griffin. He'd been the owner of True Foundations, which was a general construction company in the area, and he built up a nice little business himself since 2016, 2017 when he started. He is a licensed builder in the state of South Carolina and has done a great job growing a little business. But he got to that point where it was difficult to scale past. And that is where I wanted to come in and try to utilize our partnership together to scale past, where everyone gets stuck. But through that process, we wound up developing new tools and systems to help bridge that gap. And it kind of opened up our eyes to another opportunity that we hadn't seen yet through these software and the technologies that we were implementing. We've realized if we were to rebrand and use this towards decks specifically, that this tool was incredibly powerful. And that's ultimately what Deck Van Gogh was started as. We did this as a proof of concept to show that the software we're working on actually works in the real world, to try to get some traction and trust in the new system, because it's very different. It's not, it's very, I don't want to say better, but it's different from how things have been done in the past. I don't know anyone that is running this kind of operation in a software environment yet. So
talk
but
more
yeah,
about that. I feel like you're dangling the carrot with the software.
I'm trying not to babble. So the software, we won't beat around the bush. Every business owner knows there's a huge issue in communicating from your operation, what your sales team is doing at the time of sale with the client, through your machine, to get that to the builders on the back end that are actually doing the work but have never talked to the client in most cases. And we're not involved in the sales process to deliver on a target that's very precise. And it's very easy for communication to somehow get lost in that process. So when Max and I started working together, that's in essence that principle, that process is where we decided to dive in deep and eliminate the communication issues, which ultimately led to us creating a process that takes everything and puts it on the front end. So what I mean by that is we are working on the process where we're doing the entire sales process at the kitchen table, renderings, plans, takeoffs, material calculations, everything on the front end, so that as soon as the sale is done at that time, there is no more, we have to go now do renderings offsite and get back to you. We have to go calculate materials and get back to you. We have to make a revision that's going to take 3 days. We'll get back to you. Anything in the process that was we'll have to get back to you, we wanted to cut it out. And it's really hard to say that and expect like a person just to miraculously like manifest work out of seconds. So we started creating that system in a digital environment. So I mean that's it. It's turned into an environment where now someone that has little to no experience in building decks can design a deck with a client in front of them in real time, because the software itself knows all the limitations of the manufacturer specs for the products. So it's working backwards for you. So like it takes the guesswork out of it, so that as a business owner, you don't have to sit down and audit as heavily, nearly as heavily, like what is it your guys selling? Can we actually build that? I mean, because I've worked with a lot of different people and I've been guilty of it myself. It's not uncommon to have someone go through and sell a project and figure it out later. That will burn you most of the time. Sometimes you can figure it out and get ahead, but most of the time that's Russian roulette. I mean, you have no idea what your outcome is going to be because you didn't set that standard ahead of time. You have no target to hit. You got a budget.
Huh. Yeah, it sounds really streamlined. So are you still kind of testing everything out and working out the kinks, or is it being offered to other builders right now?
We are in the process of working with a developer to package it in a way that it's available to other builders.
Okay.
because that was, again, my route. My everything is about helping. And when we realized the scale at which this is going to help people develop, acquire information, it was one of those things like, it doesn't make sense to sit on this, especially for like all this time and energy that we're putting into it. This is like, well, this is the biggest project that I've, helped, push to fruition, because this is something we started April, I think, of last year. When we actually started sitting down and like really working through the process. We've been using it in the field, the rudimentary version of it, the concept of it in the field since I think it was November of 2024, so almost over a year now. And with that, we've been able to continue revising it, because everything new is constantly work in progress. Is it perfect? No, like it's not. It's in development. But the way it's tracking is showing, again, we fix this issue, we don't have that issue again, we can move on to another issue. And as we work through this, it gets more and more refined. And we cause issues ourselves sometime with development. We add a new feature and we break something else in the process, so we have to go back in and it's like everything else, it's learning, and we do it by doing it. So it's a fun experience. It's been a fun project to work on. I'm very privileged that the people have put faith in me, that they have, because this was a big gamble for all of us, because what we're ultimately trying to use this process to do is eliminate cost for our business and administrative side, so that we can increase our margins to pay our labor higher, instead of just sitting down and trying to tell our guys to move faster or work longer days. We're trying to equip them to do their job in less time, easier, so they can focus and they can become more effective at what they do. And this is a tool that allows that as well. So like it's really weird to describe, because there is nothing that does it yet. It's not taking like place of your CRMs. It interfaces with them. So like what we do directly imports into CRM job thread. So like, again, like we're not trying to take over something that someone else has already done. But once again, like I'm trying to hit a target that no one else has really hit at such a level of precision yet, but we need it. I mean, the industry needs it. It's a huge tool that even manufacturers and suppliers will benefit from, just because of being able to have a resource that, I mean, I love everybody in the supply industry, but you guys have a lot of products, and it's very difficult to expect every salesperson in every showroom to know everything about every product they're working with to like no fault. We're human. And if you walk into like Decks and Docks, there's tons of stuff that they support. Someone's going to make a mistake somewhere. So like having a tool like this that can help them further align and better equip their builders too, to get stuff out, like everyone's seeing the ripple effect. The benefit of it is slowly rippling through as people are hearing what it does and what we're trying to do. And it's something that we're not trying to sit on. We're trying to help alleviate a lot of headache, because I know a lot of us are dealing with the same headache, and I'm tired of headaches. I'm tired of headaches. 20 years of the same headaches, they get frustrating.
There's your tagline. So Peak Framing said, sounds amazing. Will it have various deck board brand options or exclusive to one brand?
Good question. And no, a big part of the Deckmaster J brand is I don't have an alliance to any manufacturer. And that was something that when Owens Corning reached out to me to inquire about being on their pro team, that I wanted to make clear, like this wasn't an exclusive partnership. And they said, no, this doesn't, this is not an exclusivity kind of thing. We just want to work with you, and we believe in what you're doing. We are for the builders. And I say that in the sense of, we are not interested in building something that works for our products and our market for our use. We are developing this in a way that, like, for right now, we offer TimberTech, Trex, Decorators, Everlast, Wolf, Fiberon, and OC as decking options. Why do we do that? Most people say you're crazy. Like, that's too much information for people. Well, it depends on how you're balancing out that information. Like, we can quickly ask a couple questions, and because the products are unique to be gift ready to each manufacturer, your products are unique. No one's actually making the exact same thing. We just ask the right questions to what the client is going to most benefit from, and let them, we educate them on the pros and cons of each thing and what they like to look at and what the budget is, and they make the decision. But because we can get that information so fast, it's not overwhelming. If we were to quote that and have to call our supplier every time they said, well, what about this decking option? Well, what about this decking option? That's ridiculous. But if we just sit there in front of them and we just click a button and say, well, here's your answer. Click this, there's your answer. Click this, there's your answer. We can really filter through a whole lot of information real fast to get to the answer.
Man,
that's a big part of it.
Anyone listening has to be really excited about this software. Do you have a target launch date?
We are trying to push for June 2026, but we're only about 15% funded.
Okay.
So, okay, I mean,
bring up the funding dollars, y'all.
I hate to say it, but that's the reality. And we still have lots of conversations with people that are still interested. But we really just recently started raising funding, to be fair. Most of this, we were trying to self-fund, and through Deck Van Gogh, the profits from Deck Van Gogh, push that into funding the software. But we can't grow Deck Van Gogh fast enough without compromising the quality in our standards. So we're not going to do that route. It's going to go, but at that rate, it's going too slow. So yeah, we've reached out and we've started trying to connect with people for opportunities and investment on what this is, because I mean, I know it's going to help. It's going to help people, and things that help people get support. I mean, I'm a testament to that. Everything I've done so far has been, started as me just trying to help someone, and then someone sees what I'm doing and they're like, we want to get behind that.
Yeah. So people, I mean, just follow you, right, on social, Deckmaster J, and I'm sure you'll be promoting updates and stuff like that. And if anyone's interested, they could just ping you there. Would that be the best way?
Yeah, they can go there. We're going to wind up setting up a whole other social media portal for the software specifically.
Yeah.
A website for it as well. We're trying to get a little further through development so that what we're promoting is a little more actual, true to the product, and not so conceptual. Just in terms of look, how it presents, like, UI kind of stuff. But people are funny, and I'm the same way. If I see something look one way and then a couple months later it looks totally different, like, hey, what's going on here? So we just, we're just going to wait a little bit longer to get closer to that target. But yeah, we're going to be setting up a whole other website specifically for that, because we do want to start getting awareness, and we would really like people to start going to it and saying, hey, by the way, we are interested in following this, so that we have a little more leverage. Like, companies as a whole know, like, we're trying to help. These people want our help. We need your help to help these people. So it's a unique situation, but I feel like in my career, for whatever reason, that's always been my best leverage at getting anything done, is exposing opportunities and finding the people that have the opportunity and those that are capable of fulfilling it and helping facilitate that process. So I don't know.
Well, we'll have to have you back on and do, like, we'll just talk about it. Maybe even do like a demo, and you can kind of show it. And I'm sure the audience would love that. Cudmap says one good deed deserves another.
So,
yeah. And then Michelangelo said, jealous of that shirt. What's on your shirt?
This was JLC Live. This is JLC Live from last year. This is the Life of Club.
Okay.
Collaboration from when, oh my gosh, Tony flew up to see Garrett in Maine before he moved to Florida to help him build a deck. Just total whim. That was actually a very inspiring story for me. That changed a lot in how I perceived social media and what we could do through relationships on social media.
Yeah.
That was a very interesting story.
That doesn't know what you're talking about. Can you say who Tony is and a little bit more about that?
Tony, Hollywood Decks, Tony McClellan. I always mess up his last name, apologize. But Hollywood Decks is a builder down in Florida. And a lot of people know the Life of Bub also. Garrett Davis was still building back in Maine. And he had a project they had to get done. And he put out a blast on social media that said, hey, who wants to help me build a deck? I'm sure like a lot of other people like myself looked at it and went, oh, I want to go help build a deck. But we didn't. Tony did. Tony chimed in and flew up from Florida. My understanding, like, there wasn't any incentive. Tony did this to go help Garrett out. and they had a fun time doing it. It was awesome watching. They had, gorgeous content that came out of it. But that was a bit of an aha experience for me, witnessing that, to see like you can connect with some really cool people that are also as passionate about what you're doing through social media to like really do some pretty neat stuff that you would otherwise not do in like a deck business.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's nice when people do something good with social media, isn't it? There's so
absolutely
much garbage. I almost shared something yesterday. I'm going to vent for a second, but as a middle-aged woman, I get so many like tips on makeup. Like, women just feel bad for us. Like, this is what we're bombarded with. We have to like sit here and stress out about how to do makeup. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's just ridiculous. There's so much junk. So it's nice to see people doing good. I got to meet Tony in person, and we had him on the podcast before Deck Expo, and I got to meet him in person. He seems like a really stand-up fellow.
He absolutely is. He's doing a lot of good for the community, and he's another one that is an inspirational individual. He's out to help people. He's out to teach. He's out to share. Mm-hmm. So we've always connected on that.
Mm-hmm. We got Peak Framing said, can you give a little more detail about the experience that you give homeowners that separated you from others? Thank you in advance.
Experience. I think for me, I've always been an operations person. I've always been a nerd. I started programming in 6th grade, when that would have been 1995. I started programming, and since then I've done a lot of different scripting, a lot of different programming, built computers, worked on robots. My mind is an operations thing. It's very functional. So I think when it comes to builders and how I stand out, I've always dazzled with data. Mm-hmm. And that may sound weird or may sound crazy, but there's an element, I don't know. When I was a kid, I was diagnosed, they labeled me with ADHD. My whole story, I think I'm somewhere on the spectrum. I'm just a little bit weird. I don't think I'm a great salesperson. So to speak to that, like, I have a bit of a difficult time, I feel like, connecting with people in that capacity as a sales-y person, but I'm a great consultant. So like, mm-hmm. all my career, if I'm doing good at selling something, it's because I'm educating someone about the products and they're making the decisions. I'm not doing anything. I'm trying to help them find the best fit for what they actually need, and not what's going to give me the best margins or kickbacks or what I think is the best, because it's not always the same thing. And, one client's needs are not going to be identical to the other, even in the same market. I mean, like, I'm not going to, have the same product that I build a dock out of that I'm going to build a 2nd-story deck 30 feet up in the sky. Like, it's just circumstances. Mm-hmm. So, okay, I mean, I guess, to that separated me from others, my allegiance is to the homeowners. My allegiance is to the builders, to do right, make sure I'm delivering on what best suits their needs, and then following through with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it sounds like, being helpful, really, right? Just being helpful and transparent and honest and seeing it through, the whole way through the process. So,
yep. And I can't say like that's what's made me millions, because I haven't made millions doing that. But for me, like, that's the reality of my situation.
Yeah. It's called integrity.
Above all else.
Peak Framing also wants to know, what can we do in the meantime while we wait for your software to get faster estimating?
Systems and data. Mm-hmm. And I know, like, everyone says the same thing in that regard, but systems and data that work for you in your process. So like, don't necessarily go out and like adopt a couple of habits that someone else is doing and think that like those couple of habits are going to totally change the outcome of your system. You might need to do a little bit more work than that to integrate it effectively. But while wait for software to get faster estimating, mm-hmm. I mean, there's so many, there's millions of ways to estimate. So I hate to say, but this is where I can totally understand where if you're trying to be fast and systemize, focus, you cut back your options, figure out where you want to focus, find your niche, and stay there. Don't try to deviate. Don't try to be like the one fix all for everyone's issues. There's no harm in walking away from a deal that you're not going to make money on, because you're better off not taking the job than losing money. So know your data, figure out what it is you want to sell, and stick with that.
Sounds like a kiss.
It's hard. Yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah. Because I mean, I'm not. Too. Yeah, exactly. Because I'm not faulting. I mean, I know a lot of business owners that like they have their products and they have their system, and that's why like they work with those products because they've built their systems around it. I get it. I mean, if you're going to build a race car, it has to work at a certain capacity and tuned to a certain level of detail. And then if you start adding stuff to that, like you don't tune a car by just throwing stuff under the hood. So like, that's worst case scenario. And you don't want to do that to your operation either. You don't want to come in and just start doing more for the sake of doing more, because anytime you change one thing, there's a ripple effect. So, a couple small changes can have a huge benefit. And also, you could also go the swing way with that. It could have a huge downfall or draw to it.
Cool. I hope that was helpful. Guys, keep the questions coming. This is great. I've got a whole list of things I could talk about, but it's better to hear from you guys. Bobby says, how do you and Max complement each other to make Deck Van Gogh a success?
So, as I said, my track record as a business owner in construction stopped back in 2017. Since then, I've been managing and working with other teams. So there's certain elements of the process that I hadn't touched since 2017 in a totally different market, working with totally different products. It may have all been like different planets. Max is from Greenville. He's been in Greenville, most of his life. He knows almost everybody in Greenville. He is very driven by product science. He's very knowledgeable on the products he works with, and he and I align very much on integrity above all else, and doing what is right for the clients, not necessarily like what we need to, generate brand alliance or whatever. Flip side to that, I mean, he doesn't have the same experience on working with larger teams. He doesn't have as much experience when it comes to marketing and social media content. He's not as interested in, he appreciates the educational stuff, but he's not as passionate about it. So, in the whole business sense, there's a lot of Max is what keeps the machine going. And when Max has a problem, we talk about it and I help him work it out in a way that complements our business so that we don't struggle and cause other issues. Like, I don't know, think of Max as like, he's the owner, like he has the pit crew and I'm helping come in and just fine tune the machine, I guess would be the best way to say it. I mean, that's ultimately the relationship, because Max was doing a couple $1 million a year before I even jumped on board. And me coming on board was to help make his life easier and less stressful, not necessarily make, more sales. And that's what we've seen. So with that, a lot of stuff has changed in the time. He is still, aside from Deck Van Gogh, still overseeing the Three Foundations business. So he's still managing subs on those projects. He's still selling, projects to that capacity. But Max is also an incredible salesman when it comes to keeping our deck work moving. We've been working together, your team and my team, since I think May now. It's been a while. And in that time, you guys have seen, I got, I think like 45 leads that I went and hustled, and I think I sold 3. I'm not a great salesman. Somehow Max will get like 6 calls and sell 9 jobs. I don't know how he does it.
Sales master. Okay.
He's incredible in that sense. And that is where like, I'm not that person. Like it's take all opinion out of the side. Let's look at the facts. The facts don't lie. I have less than a 5% closing rate on sales, and somehow you sell jobs before your phone call even happens. That is, we're trying to get out of each other's way, and we're trying to complement each other to those weaknesses, down to the data level, not our opinions. We're looking at the facts. We're going back to projects and where did we do good and where did we fail? Like who, what was our issue? Let's nip it in the butt. We're going to make mistakes. Let's not freak out about it. Let's work through this and get on to the next thing. If we had an issue here, so what? We're human. It's going to happen. That can't be the critical flaw that we have an issue and everything falls apart. That's not realistic. Fix it and move on to the next thing. And that's it. We're just trying to crunch down that list. And as a business owner, that list never ends and it keeps growing somehow. So it's just a process of sticking with it.
Yeah. Love it.
But he's proven himself and his value, and I'm trying to prove myself my value as well. But Max, he's a great guy to work with. He's very impressive at what he does.
Yeah, he's definitely passionate. I'll tell you that. Like I got to break some bread with him in Vegas, and he's a passionate fella. Yep. Sounds like you guys complement each other really well. That's good. And I think
how it has to work
for everybody to be, with your team in general, like always be open and transparent about strengths and weaknesses and what you enjoy doing, so that you could really blend together well. Tony's here. He said, nice shirt. We get, so it's kind of funky, like from a logistical standpoint, for whatever reason, the software we use, Instagram kind of has a lot of rules, right? Like they make things difficult.
Yes, it does.
So we have to take the comments from Instagram and put them on our Facebook in order for them to show. It is Tony, I swear. It says Deck Builder Marketing.
I believe it.
Okay, so Jesse wants to know what's your favorite project you've ever worked on and why?
Ooh, man, I've got to do some pretty interesting stuff. Favorite project? I don't know, because there's certain unique aspects of things. Like I've done, not recently, but like I've done work back in the Air and Space Museum down in DC when I did insurance restoration. So like they had a sewer backup and we got called in to do the cleanup and then the reconstruction. So like I got to hang out in the Air and Space Museum at like 2:00 in the morning and walk around and see whatever I wanted to, because security knew us and they didn't care. That was pretty cool. But like modern, I do like the logistical challenges of trying to just incorporate things that you're not just throwing a lot into a basket, you're doing it with an artistic style. You're having your own design flair. So like not just throwing lights onto a project, but putting them where they work, and not, just designing to design, like designing to suit a purpose, to a function. So like this project that we're on right now, for example, like we have spent months going back and forth with this client to cater the design of the space to exactly how they're going to use it in the future, not just put up a deck. That's fun. Like when I was with Legacy, I got to do all kinds of curved decks, which were awesome. That was a fantastic experience because, again, you get to go out and try and acquire, develop a new art to do this, these curved details, and like it's a puzzle, it's a challenge, and I like challenges. So anytime I've got a project that comes up with something a little bit new, and they're like, "Hey, we need you to figure this out."
Yeah.
There's that element of like, I think that's what entrepreneurs have. There's that little fire that you have to keep fueling. And if you don't keep that fire fed, you get bored. So like there's that element of like, I just keep changing it up somehow, keep pushing the envelope, keep trying new things. So like, each one's fun, but then the next one's fun for another reason. Then the next one's fun for another reason. So I don't know. Favorite, that's a hard one. I'm not good with favorites. I like too much.
Like if somebody asks me what my favorite band is or something, or movie, I'm like, I don't know.
Under what circumstances?
Okay, cool. So let's see. We've got all kinds of comments. This is awesome. Let's see. Deck Masters of South Florida. Love the show. I try to watch when time permits. Big fan of Deckmaster Jay and his work. Is there a typical profit margin goal per project? Great.
We're typically trying to hit between 30-35% if we can do it, 40 if we're great, but it depends on the project. Some stuff recently, we've been really trying to push content and getting content. So if we get a project that we're like, we really want those pictures, that's got value. So we'll compromise some of our margin knowing that we're going to get something else out of it too. But ideally, 30 to 40% is what we're really trying to do, because we want to be able to offer our team more. So unfortunately, we also got to charge more. So we better deliver on what we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys put in the comments what your goal is. I think everybody has a different approach on this. So Deck Gap Guard. Have you guys ever heard of Deck Gap Guard? Gosh, say that 3 times.
No, not that product specifically. I'm assuming similar products, but not Deck Gap Guard.
Okay,
I'm imagining this is.
Just try it.
Nope. I spent most of elementary school in speech therapy. I talk slow for a reason.
Oh, by the way, Sean is here. He's got a comment. I'm going to put that up. But you said you dazzle in data. I'm like, that needs to be a T-shirt, man.
That's it. I'm going to take a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to organize it and I'm put it in front of you in a way that you can understand it. That's the goal. Data that no one understands is damaging.
I love it.
So.
Chris says, great question. And then Sean McAleer's here. He said net margin or gross. I mean, both, man, you know, net and gross. What would you say?
We do our calculations off gross.
Okay. Got it. All right, cool. But keep the questions coming, y'all. Let's do this. So let's see. Your content is super transparent. You talk about pricing and processes, mistakes and wins. Why is that important to you, and how has it impacted your business?
So I have somewhat of a unique approach, I think, to trying to show that I'm genuine in my questions. I think part of that may fall somewhere in I think I'm like whatever on the spectrum kind of thing again. But because I have been told over the years I rub people weird ways, I try to be maybe overly transparent so that I can make sure I'm setting the right foundation so that when I'm about to ask what may come off as a really weird question to you, you understand where I'm coming from. Or if I make some sort of weird claim or declaration, I want to explain like how I got there first. So yeah. Oh my gosh, I just totally drew a blank. Can you read that back one more time for me?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of an open question. It's why is it important? Like, your content is transparent.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. The whole transparency. I want people to understand that I'm coming from a place of genuine interest and passion and care. And if we are going to have an issue or questions, that we work through it with that preset already established. Where like if I do say something that's going to push the boundaries, like I'm going to at least justify why. I'm going to cite some sources because I don't want it to be my opinion against an opinion. I'm going to cite my facts based against other facts because that's where the credibility is. And I felt, especially early in my career, that was a way that I was able to deflect authority, I guess, for lack of a better term. So when I'm in my 20s, per se, and I'm going out and trying to sell projects, bidding against guys in their 40s, 50s, 60s, the guys that can come in and say, I've been doing it for 30 years. And, I just started. Like, how do I compete with that? It was that when I would come in and talk to someone about something, I'm not necessarily giving you my words. I'm giving you this person, and this is why their value in the statement is credible. These people did the research. These people did the test. These people paid the engineers. It's not my opinion. It's their data. So understanding and being able to explain and justify everything has been very important to me for credibility's sake. Because again, I don't want people to think that I'm here just saying a bunch of what I think because I think it. If I think something, it's because I got something to back it up. I got some sort of foundation, and here's my foundation. I'll show you why. It's not just because, Jose said blah 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 about it, and now that's it. I'm not going to learn anything else. That's my opinion. Mm-hmm. I try to take everyone's opinion, even the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. But the transparency was very big on trust early in my career for building credibility with people, because again, people wouldn't argue with, well, this engineering for this company, this manufacturer says that's what we're supposed to do, so that's what we're going to do. And I think it also helped with integrity and building trust, so that when someone did want to go fact check me, they saw that I was actually being honest with them. It wasn't just my opinion. They can go look at it and see, like, I'm digging, I'm reading into this stuff, I'm exposing myself to this environment. I'm not just out trying to make a buck. I'm trying to learn and offer the best of my experience in exchange for your product or for your project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
there's so much good in that, you know. And really, I think at the end of the day, it's, you know, being vulnerable helps really to build trust, you know.
right.
So this is a good question here. You talk about ultra lean leadership. What does that mean, and how do you implement it inside of your company?
So the ultra lean leadership is where I'm referring to, like, we don't have a person doing takeoffs. That's our system does it. I don't have a person determining project schedules. Our software does that. I don't have a person figuring out where we're going to source the material from. You know, it's all recorded in our software. I don't have clients, or I don't have people like updating pricing for it's all these things that you typically would associate to, like, what I'm going to call like a project manager role or an estimator role, has been cut and implemented into the software so that we don't have to pay a person to do those tasks. So we can use fewer people to manage more, because the system's doing a lot of what the brain power was before.
Man,
I mean, that's the easiest way to say it, is we're effectively our salesperson is becoming the estimator, but we're also giving them a tool to say, you can only do what this thing says. If this won't let you do it, don't do it. Don't try. You can't. It's like you're bound by this. So our sales guys can't go crazy. They can't make false promises. They can't tell someone it's going to take. Well, they can still do a lot of stuff, but we're giving them the tools to, if they read it, give good information.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's a huge part of it. And then, like, that all of that gets transferred over. That's a handoff process. After it's sold and gone to contract, the system, you know, it's our draw schedules, our process delivery schedules, everything is noted out in the system based on the design.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's it's crazy to say sometimes, like, this is actually happening. But yeah, we do the design, and that phase of the project, the same design that we're using to sell the project, is also generating all of that other work.
Yeah.
So literally, as soon as the project's sold, we don't need an estimator. We don't need a project manager to then sit down and do all this other stuff. It's just injected into our CRM.
Unbelievable. So do you have a name for it?
No.
Any possibilities?
Not yet. Yeah, I don't know. Comments. There we go.
Yes.
Let everyone throw it in.
Dazzling data.
Yeah, the dazzling data designer. But no, this whole project has been so focused on what it does and actually solving the problem, and not just creating something else that's going to take someone's money. Like, it's this, we're designing this in a way and pricing it to where it is going to be more expensive to have people do the same work. Yeah. But that's the point of it, is we're trying to cut costs so that we can pay our builders more and make their job easier by having everything organized for them.
Man, I love it.
So
who wants to go work for Jeremy?
Still early. It's still stressful. Don't get me wrong. This all sounds great, but this is development. This is trial and error, and you're building that ship. You're building that plane while it's falling still, until it's done. Yep. Until it's done.
Yep. Okay. So Flash McBangs. First of all, that's a pretty cool name. Flash McBangs. I don't know.
That's my brother.
Is it?
That's my brother. I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe I don't know. I'm sure.
For the listeners, he says he wants to work for you.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, no, he does. So for those of you that don't know, anything that you buy from the Deckmaster J website is actually, I manufacture every piece that comes off, through our store, comes off my machines so that I can do quality control here at my own house still, because I don't like compromising on quality. I don't want anyone else to make that call. I make sure everything that goes out passes at least, our preliminary. It comes across this desk right here before getting sent to my brother, who my brother actually handles all the day-to-day operations. If you go in and you put in a request for an order, he's processing it and shipping it. He's doing all the day-to-day stuff. So that's another one where I set up the system and was fortunate to be blessed with the opportunity to hire my brother. And now for almost 3 years, he's been overseeing and sending stuff all over North America.
Wow. Okay. So I could do a little screen share. Sorry for the listeners, but this is the site. Wait, how do I do this? But deckmasterj.com is what he's talking about. And so here we go. Pretty cool site. So you sell products. Tell us more about what people can get here.
This was another, I a couple years ago started with I made the tool available through another service called Shapeways, and with how they priced their model, it was $25 just to buy each plastic part of my tool, because I wasn't set up to manufacture anything. Mm-hmm. Well, after the first year of sales there, I wasn't getting anything. That cost was specifically just for them to manufacture it and then ship it. I got nothing of that. Mm-hmm. After a year of people reaching back out to me and saying, hey, we don't want to make the tool, we just want to buy the tool, I finally broke down at Deck Expo of 2022. Michael Miller from M3 Decks, I will never forget it. He was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Oh, really? Okay.
It was at the Timber Tech after hours dinner. He was the last one to ask me before I decided I have to do something. So ultimately, the community requested the availability of the tools as a kit so that they could just go order just the kit and put it on, not have to make it themselves. The price point of what we do was based off of what it previously cost just to buy the plastic part. So me taking on the manufacturing, cutting them out, keeping the same price point, we now included the metal tabs, the hardware, everything in that kit for the same price. And we stand behind it. We warranty it now. So if you have any issues with it, since we're not just selling a tool, we're selling a solution. If there's a problem, we stand behind it and we make sure that our tools are replaced. So not that we have a lot of issues. I did have, again, I own my mistakes. I made an update in one of my tools earlier this year, and the update was not an upgrade. So we quickly rolled it out, and anyone that had issue, let me know when they got new tools. So that's it. I've never been out to take someone's money. I've always put myself in a position to try to help. And if I'm not helping, I don't want the money. So that's the gist of that. But I've done a lot of cool stuff. Mm-hmm. I've done, had the privilege to design some things for people that, had a niche or had a problem. And just, again, being part of the community that way. There was a builder in Greenville that had some hardware break on one of their projects, and the company wasn't around anymore to make the trim pieces. So they reached out to me, and I made the trim pieces they needed to put their deck back together. Tony, if he's still watching, this was a Tony project. Tony asked me, he had some handrails on a project that had an exposed open end, and the client didn't like it. So he reached out to have me design a cap. So we did. Sweet. And we made caps for him, so we could cap that on. Just miscellaneous stuff. It's just rooted in showing I'm trying to help, to build that reputation. I was trying to get as many people to show I'm genuinely here to help to the capacity that I can. And if someone's got the audacity, the guts to come ask for help, if I can, I'm going to help. Why not? I've had tons of people help me in my life. I want to pay that back. I mean, there's a huge element of that. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if there were, the dozens of people tolerated my questions and my, learning, my mistakes. So So I'm trying to create the opportunity to let the next generation follow in some footsteps and realize like the industry is, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. Construction is not the same back-breaking work that it was like 30 years ago. Like, especially if you're doing it right. Like if you're doing it properly, you're not going to kill yourself or you're not going to break your body. But there are those people out there that, yeah, they're going to expect you to be the backhoe on the project, for lack of better terms. And that's probably not the team that you want to work with. So up to you. There's lots of options. That's one of the cool things about living in America is we have the option to pick where we want to work and what we want to do. If you don't like where you're at, you don't got to stay.
Yeah. So anyway, you're like the solutions man, huh? You solve problems.
I am. That's it. I'm trying to help people solve issues with my skill sets. And if someone thinks that my skill set can help, offer a solution to issue they got, let's talk. Let's see if we can open some doors. Let's see if we can help some people. So
love it. We've got a couple of comments here. So Deck Masters of South Florida, awesome. Thank you. We try to do the margin. Wait, hold on. Let me put this up on the screen here. We try to do the margins. Do you use a CRM or other software to keep track of projects, leads, etc.?
Yes. Shout out to JobTread. JobTread has been our primary source of leads, and we run all of our projects through. We manage everything, track our money on the projects through JobTread. So definitely shout out to JobTread. They're not compensating me to say that. I'm a happy customer for what it's worth, because it to me, it makes a difference. I get no kickbacks for that.
Yeah, same. Actually, I did just finally signed up for they have a referral, program. So we finally signed up for that because we refer people to them all the time. We actually have Eric coming to our growth workshop on Tuesday. Are you going to come?
Yep.
Cool.
This coming Tuesday?
Yeah.
I don't see why not. I know we've been crazy. I missed a couple recently, but up until recently, I was pretty good about staying on them. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see what else they have to do. They're always rolling out new features. So yeah.
Well, we're really happy because they have a native automation that syncs our Sales Jumpstart software with theirs. And so a big thing for what we do is, we want that closed loop reporting. We want to be able to show what lead sources are driving revenue. And so we've always depended on our clients to add the project value into our software, Sales Jumpstart. But if you use JobTread, there's a native integration. So once you move to the estimating phase, our software automatically moves them over there to JobTread. And then as the project is done, if you have any upsells and things like that, your pricing gets updated there, and then it speaks back to our software. So now we can have better reporting to drive those insights to help our clients make more informed decisions on their advertising spend and stuff like that. So we're really, really, really happy with JobTread. And so it'll be nice to have the man himself, Eric, on our growth workshop. And so if nobody knows what I'm talking about, one of the pillars in our service is our success pillar. And we do bi-weekly growth workshops with our clients, which is really great because I love it. It brings everybody together. And, people learn from one another, from other builders, which is great. It's kind of like a mastermind. So become a client and you'll get that too.
Yep. I was really disappointed. I missed out the AI one. I couldn't make that one.
Well, we archive all of that, the recordings and stuff in the Success Hub. So,
yep. I went back to watch, but it's not the same as being there and getting to ask the questions. There's a big difference of actually being in the conversation.
Yeah. So Deck Dialogue said me too. So going back to wanting to work for you. and then they said, I ask, he really says yes. So there you go. Oh yeah, and then
Yeah.
my team's reminding me that we have a podcast with Zach from Job Tread next Thursday. So Zach's going to come on and kind of do a demo, which will be interesting because we're going to do it on a podcast. Obviously, all of this is recorded, so I'll kind of have to walk through the demo as he's showing it. But if anybody's interested in the software that Jeremy uses, a lot of our clients use it. It's called Job Tread. They're going to be on. I've had Eric on the podcast a couple of times.
Yeah.
Now we've got somebody else from his team that's going to be on next Thursday, and you can, come. And what I love about our podcast too is that we've got it's live, so you can ask questions, which will be really great. So, well, we're kind of at time here, Jeremy. We're going to have you back on because I had a ton of questions I wanted to ask you, and I'm sure everybody would really enjoy that too. Really, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being here and
My pleasure.
opening, pulling the curtain back and kind of revealing your brilliance and sharing some tips with everybody. I do have to ask, what advice would you give to deck builders who want to grow but feel stuck? Or any words of wisdom that you think?
Yeah, I was going to say, focus on your system before you try to scale. If you try to scale and you're just trying to grow, you're not going to like the outcome. Many of us have tried it, and many of us will tell you the same thing.
Yep.
It's an expensive lesson to learn firsthand. So if we can save you that headache, we would love to. But really get your system ironed out and then scale, and you'll realize it doesn't even feel like you're scaling. You're just seeing results.
Yeah.
But if you try to scale and then do your process, everything's going to be on fire all the time. So, be conscious, watch what you're doing, plan it out. Just you got to plan it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Be intentional, right? Be intentional.
Very much so.
You definitely cannot scale anything until you've worked out the kinks, right?
No, and even like you guys helped bring that to our light. Like we wanted to get really aggressive with our marketing, and your team helped us realize like we're not really ready for that. Like we got to step back, focus. It's same kind of thing. Like it's, yep,
yeah,
you're right. We wanted to grow. We weren't ready to grow. We shouldn't have. We got anxious. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I have, I do the sales here. And so I talk to a lot of builders across the country, and so many people come to me and they want to double their revenue in a year, and it's like, I kind of have to bring them back down, and I'm like, hey, we can totally do that, but you're going to have to invest. And then how are you going to handle the work? So maybe we kind of go into this a little slowly, and then when you've hit that spot, we can ramp it up. So, if anyone's interested, I offer a free strategy session, and I will point you in the right direction, whether or not we are a good fit for you. I find it very valuable. I love doing them. I actually have some great reviews on Google for some folks that I've helped with those strategy sessions. So you could just go to deckbuildermarketers.com/get started. But for you, we've got people can follow you. They can purchase products from you at deckmasterj.com. They can follow you on social at deckmasterj. And then if you want to check out the business, Deck Van Gogh, go to deckvangogh.com. Any last words?
Last words, it's always for me. It's thank you. Thank you to your team. Thank you to anyone else that's watching this, that's been involved. What I'm doing, where I'm at right now, is not a reflection, purely on things that I've achieved, but things that, people have helped me get done. So if anyone can learn from that also, awesome. But thank you to everyone that supported me through this journey, and can't wait to show you what we've got in store.
Love it. That's great. Thank you so much, Jeremy.
Thank you, April. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.